Scotty and Goss on this Wednesday morning. Don't forget AFL Nation tomorrow night. It's a huge game. It is the Pies who have been incredibly disrespectful, bringing a B-grade team to take on Fremantle. Mate, it's going to blow up in your face.
I think they know. They know it'll be. They couldn't possibly win, and I think they marked it in the calendar a long, long time ago. And it'd be if they got up. It'd be season over for Freo and one of the all-time underdog wins, Goss.
And the next night, of course, and we're talking Friday night, is St Kilda versus Carlton, the MCG. It is Spud's game. The campaign will see all the funds raised going directly to mental health programs and research. So anyone who's listening to this on the app, it is a very important game. One part of that is Justin Koschitzke, 200 games, 247, 2 times pre-season premiership player. And, of course, we just saw him surface a couple of weeks ago. First time I've seen this. This was pretty candid and pretty forthright. This is him speaking to Hamish McLaughlin on 7.
Become the worst 2 hours of the week. And then the shame you carry for that. It's like, I've got the best job in the world and you're trying to convince yourself. You're like, there is millions of kids, millions of people out there that play footy, country footy, suburban footy, amateur footy, that would give their left nut to run out there once. And I get the opportunity to do it and play in it and be paid well for it. And it's like driving to the game is like, I just want this to be over.
One of my great mates and one of your favourite Saints, Goss, and he joins us now to talk openly, as he always does. Cozzy, good morning to you.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Oh, mate, we are terrific. Tough going over it again with Hamish in Unfiltered, or is that just it's your life now? You go out and you're trying to help others with by sharing, your own struggles and battles along the way.
Yeah, no, it's not tough. It certainly was for a while, mate. It was hard to come out and talk about it, and I certainly understand that I was in a privileged position, so you don't want to be poor me, and I respect the opportunity that I got, but that's just where it got after I got knocked out, that I just despised playing the game, and I couldn't find anything, and I was just so done with it. So I think it resonates, and it's, since that has come out, it's resonated with a lot of country and amateur footballers as well that suffer concussions. And people think that sort of stuff is it's privy to the top leagues and the top athletes. But like a country football or AMO football is just as tough and throw their body on the line, and they might get knocked out 6 or 8 times in their career and then have mental ill effects after it, and they don't understand, and I hope it sheds a light on it for a few people that are struggling.
It certainly does, mate, and your work's inspirational, and it is saving lives. There's no doubt about that just by having conversations. But how hard is it? How hard is it to talk about for you to start with? Because I was there, we started a bike ride together with Pucker Up. We rode from Sydney to Melbourne. We roomed together, and I wasn't aware that you had your battles until later on in the ride when we started talking, and it sort of clicked, and you felt safe to talk about it and say, I'm not going to be judged here. I'm in a good space. I'm in a good spot to talk about this. How hard was it for you to say, hey, I'm going to put my hand up here?
Yeah, well, I think that's what we're all trying to do, Scotty, and that was the environment where a lot of mates got together, and Wayne Schwass with his rides with Pucker Up and the great work he was doing gave us that environment, and I think we were all there for a reason, and I certainly was. Spotted had a chat to me and knew I was struggling. That was way back in 2018, and that environment created a safe space and an authentic space for me to open up and talk to a group. And I think that was probably the start of the healing journey way back then. And it was hard, but it's come to it. At least it was out there, and some small amount of people knew that you trusted, and then all of a sudden you get momentum and you start coming out and the healing journey begins.
So this sort of brings us to Friday night's game, St Kilda Carlton, the Spud's game, of course, involved in the Spud's ride and the like, the mental health space, and the sad passing of Spud through his battles with mental health. So it all comes together. It culminates in what is a pretty special night for football. Now, I know you probably moved on from your St Kilda days in the true sense, Cozzy, but at the same time, this would bring you back to the fold on a special night tomorrow night.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head, mate. It's a special night, and, we all wish we weren't doing it. We all wish Spud was here, but, the tragedy of his death leaves a legacy and shines a light on it, and it's a massive day for the Saints and the broader community. I think that this brings awareness to mental ill health. And it is a big night. People can get behind it. We're doing a bit of a ride. I'm jumping on the bike for the first time in 8 years. Scotty,
hang on a second.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, he did have a magnificent machine from Giant, and you treated it well. You rode it beautifully, but you're telling me that once we rode from Sydney to Melbourne and you parked the bike in St Kilda at the finishing line, it hasn't moved again?
Well, the day after that, it went on eBay, and I got no digs. I paid the price way too high, so that didn't sell. And then it went in the shed for a while, and then a mate borrowed it, and I thought, they asked me to do this charity thing around the MCG on Friday, which was fine. I'm thinking, I'm sure I had a bike somewhere, so I rang about 20 mates and finally found the one who borrowed it and got it back, and it's in the back of the car and it's ready to roll.
Let me just tell everyone too, when you see that bike rolling around the MCG, that bike shut down a fast food drive-through chain one day when Cozzy forgot that it was on his roof and drove through the fast food, drove through the drive-through and took out everything above him, and his bike couldn't move, and there was 50 cars lined up behind him with this idiot, a brand new cyclist, had shut down the drive-through lane.
No, it was just that just explained everything. I've got this flash new bike, and I'm like, I'm taking it up to the farm for the weekend because I've got to train for this thing. And I went to, I don't know, bloody the four-wheel drive shop and got the roof racks and got this whole set up, and then put it on the car, and off we go. And halfway up the Hume Highway, the kids are hungry, so I've hooked it through KFC and totally forgot the bikes on. It's the first 2 hours of my bike riding life. This enormous bang. I looked behind, what was that? And here's the bike swinging off the handlebars of the drive-through.
Hey, Spud's Ride 24-hour cycling relay, and that takes place tomorrow. It takes place from 2 o'clock to 2 o'clock Friday, the day of Spud's game. Who's having a crack at that? What sort of names can people who would go to the MCG and see all this stuff going on? Who's riding?
There's a few prominent guys, Saints guys. I'm riding with Rui and Majak Dor. Obviously not doing the full 24 hours or something might go wrong, but we're going to be there from 12 till 2 to finish it off, so that's going to be pretty exciting.
Are you going to be in like full lycra and you're going to have those leg warmers and arm warmers you used to wear when we were on our rides?
I think I'll just go to footy shorts and a T-shirt this time, mate. It took me a bit to adapt to it, but talking about leg warmers, I'll never forgive you, Scotty.
What?
We've woken up in, I think it was Canberra.
Yeah.
I think it was Canberra, and it was Yass. We rode from Canberra to Yass at 5 o'clock one morning, and it was -3, and I've pulled out these fancy leg warmers and arm warmers and pulled them up. And to paint the picture, Scotty and I were the only blokes in a 60-man squad that didn't shave their legs, so we were holding fast on this. But I've pulled these leg warmers out, and I've walked out of the bathroom with them on, and he's like, what the hell is that? And I said, mate, it's -3. I'm pulling these out. And he said, I'm not letting you step out of this room with them on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, righto, so rip them off. 10 minutes into the ride, Scotty's frozen stiff. I'm frozen stiff. It's not stuck to my lip. We're flying down the hill to Yass and could not feel our fingers and toes, and I'm looking at him like, I hate you, mate.
We look like the two boys out of Dumb and Dumber, when they got off their motorbike and all the frost on their nose and lips. It was just disgusting. But yeah, in hindsight, it was a bad decision by me.
Brilliant stuff. Hey, I've just I've logged on to JustinKoschitzke.au as well, which is your mental health space website. There's plenty to see and do on that. Hey, Cozzy, I know you probably moved on with family and this space that you're working in and living in at the moment, which is brilliant. How much footy do you take in, mate? And do you keep an eye on the Saints at all?
You're a fan of Ross Lyon.
Oh, hang on.
Because, my mate here is a big Saints man. As I said, well, you're one of his favourites of all time.
Yeah.
Not so much of
no,
fan.
You're
not a Ross man.
You're not a Ross man.
No,
Steve.
I'm not a Ross man, Cozzy. Sorry, mate.
What was that, mate?
Steve, you're not a Ross man?
That's funny. Oh, you think that's funny? That was the very first time I met the bloke. He came to town and he called me. I said, Tim Gossage, and he goes, Steve Rossage. Like, he thought my name was Steve Gossage Rossage. I've never forgiven him since. Disrespectful.
Because he's obviously heard of that.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about it back over it. No, I'm not a huge fan, but what about the Saints?
Oh, look, I don't keep a real close eye on it. That sort of moved on. But, yeah, if they're on... look, if I'm doing something on a Saturday and they're playing, I won't rush home to watch it, put it that way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, when I do, I've lived and breathed it for 13 years, so my heart's definitely there, and I love seeing them do well, and you hurt a little bit when they're not. And, you know what, they showed a bit of signs.
Yeah.
Great win against the Dockers last week, and, you know, despite what you think, I love Rossi. He was a great mentor for me and our group, and I think he's a great coach. And if he can get it right and get some couple of fresh, good players in, we'll be fine.
He seems to be. Sorry, Steve.
Don't back it off, both of you. I don't think you're a comedy actor.
He seems to be, because that the players who play for him, or maybe not all of them, because he's probably hard on.
No,
on a
not
few.
all of them. I could name about 40.
Yeah, so I'll ask you that, because like, of the list of boys that you played with, and you were a tight unit, the guys at the Saints. How many do you reckon loved him? Because I know our great mate Fraser, Gary, loved him. How many do you reckon loved him, and how many probably didn't because he was maybe a bit hard on him?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's like now, but certainly back then, if he was really, with his top 20 or 25 that he knew was established, would love him. And then I wouldn't have liked to be a young player. But you know what? He drove high standards and he wanted everyone to be good, so he rode them hard. But as soon as you gave him 100%, of it, you had him. And if you didn't, if you had talent and looked like you're wasting it and not getting on board with anything, which was fine, it's a team game. And he did ride the young guys hard, but it was his standards, and that's what made us good.
Very much so, and that's the report you get out of there. The majority of players do love him. There's no doubt about that.
Well, no one loves a coach when they're playing reserves.
No, exactly right. And sadly, he hasn't got a premiership to show for it. Hey, Spud's game, St Kilda v Carlton.
You just can't help it.
Friday night footy. I can't wait for this. Love Danny Frawley. We're so much poorer for him no longer being with us. But it's a big time for you, Cozzy. It's a big time probably mentally and physically because you're involved in that ride for about an hour again tomorrow. Are you excited about what's ahead? Are you excited about the reaction you get for Spud's game? And more importantly, I think St Kilda fans show up. It's at the MCG, which is huge, because it's Carlton's home ground, so it's a big chance for a big crowd to show up for Spud's game, and it's certainly in our community. You'd be excited about the next 24, 48 hours.
Yeah, it's amazing for the club. It's great exposure, Friday night lights, and we get a big crowd in the home ground, so commercially it's good for the club. But the overarching message is that what it shines on mental health and the people that come together, and that's not about St Kilda or Carlton, that's about the wider community and anyone involved. So that's the exciting part, and it's great exposure. As I said, it took a tragedy to leave this legacy, but the great that's come out of it is rippling through the community. And, you know, Spud's line was, look over the back gate and check on a mate. So if that message gets out and someone checks on their mate that they think's not going well and gets him out of a hole and saves his life, it's all worth it. Yeah,
100%. Hey, mate, I don't want to do this on air, but I'll tell you what, Scotty and I are involved in a function coming up later in the year. Do you travel? You prepared to travel to tell your story and talk mental health?
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Well, the cash is good.
Oh.
If the cash is good. It's for the charity, mate. It's for the charity. All right.
Charity.
Charity. No, we'll look after you.
I forgot. I didn't hear that.
Cash is king. We know, mate. The ATO is listening, as we know.
Hey, brother, really, I cannot understate how proud I am of you. And the work you're doing is, as I said, and it's not over-dramatising. It is you're saving people's lives by having conversations. I bloody love you and look forward to talking to you soon. Enjoy your weekend, mate.
Good on you, boys.
There he is, Justin Koschitzke, joining us, St Kilda legend, 200 gamer. Spud's game, he does a ride tomorrow till Friday, 2 till 2 at the MCG, if you're listening on the app and the podcast catch-up. And then the big game, St Kilda versus Carlton.
He could come off that bike. He could fall off it.
It'd be like a penny farthing, wouldn't it?
No, it's a big bike, but he could fall off it.
Scotty Goss back to wrap it up next.